What's up, guys? Somebody requested that I test 420HC, and I have that steel in the form of a Buck Vantage Select, and I thought this was a good time to go ahead and get some practice in with these Chosera stones. I've done a little bit of sharpening with them already, but they're so radically different than anything I have right now that, sorry, I'm going to make you hear this again since I moved the stone. Well, you didn't have to hear it yet, have you? Anyway, they're so radically different than anything I've used previously, so I am having to take a little bit more time to get proficient with them. Sharpened with them last night, and I didn't get as good of an edge as I know I can get, so this video may not be too spectacular to watch. I may not get the best edges that I've gotten, but I won't get good with these stones unless I use them. So this is a 600 grit stone. I went ahead and set the bevel using my DMT course with a sharpening wedge that yours truly made me. I set the bevel at 30 degrees inclusive, and I went ahead and marked it with Sharpie so I know that I'm hitting the actual bevel. So I'm going to go ahead and start refining the edge with this 600 grit stone. Just checking to make sure I'm hitting the actual edge, which I am. A lot of people ask me for sharpening tips, and really the only thing I could say that works with any certainty is practice. And I know people can't stand hearing that. Anything that I'm trying to learn, and when people tell me, oh, well, practice, duh, that's a given. But with sharpening, there's really not much you can tell people that will help them other than practice. I mean, it's something that you really have to have some hands-on experience. It's not something you can learn via words or anything like that. You need hands-on experience. So that's what I suggest people do. See, I've removed all of the Sharpie. Got those really nice grind lines that come from these Chosera stones. Amazingly, just super, super clean lines that come from these Chosera stones. One thing I can tell you that I do is once you find your once you find your angle, lock your wrist in, and instead of moving your wrist up and down the stone, see how my wrist is moving? You lock your wrist in and you rock your body. You can really just pivot around on your hip flexors, and you really never have to change the way you're holding your wrist. And that is where your angle comes from, is your wrist. If you don't have your wrist locked in, then your angle is going to be all over the place, and you're not going to get consistent results. So that's probably the number one tip I can give people, is lock your wrist, rock your body. And it takes some getting used to do that, because a lot of people, I mean, as a culture, we're just kind of stagnant people. We don't move a lot. You kind of have to train your body to move like this, but it's nothing difficult. I mean, anybody can do it. We have a really big burr. That's good. That's what I wanted to do, clean up those grind lines. We're done with this stone. So that's 600 grit. That is one of the things about these Chosera stones. The quality is so amazing, and they give you such good edges. And even on that 600 grit stone, it cuts amazingly fast. I mean, it cuts so fast. It's hard to describe, but I mean, they just work, and they work really, really well. So for the sake of getting good edges, I am going to test with this knife, so I want the edge to be as good as it can be. So I'm going to go ahead and Sharpie the edge again so that I can see what it is I'm doing. I had another tip that I thought I could give, but I forgot it. Let me see if it comes back to me. One thing, if you get frustrated with it, just go ahead and walk away. Do yourself a favor. Walk away from it, because you're not going to do good work when you're frustrated and pissed off at the stone or the knife. Don't do that either. Don't come off the stone. But if you're frustrated, just go ahead and walk away. I mean, you're not going to get anything done when you're pissed off and frustrated and angry. You're just not going to do good work. There's something kind of spiritual about sharpening on these stones. It's just, I know that's kind of a heavy word to use, but you just kind of got to have a connection with a stone and a connection to what you're doing, and it's very cathartic. Once you get used to it, it's soothing. It's a good cleanse of the soul. I have a burr, now I can switch. You see that green slurry? I love it. I love how these stones make colored slurry. I really wish I could remember what I was going to say, because it was a good tip. Something that helped me out, but I can't remember it. Alright, perfect. Oh yeah, muscle memory. One good thing, if you're starting out, grab a beater knife, something you don't like. Just practice locking in your wrist and develop that muscle memory, because that's all it is. You don't, when I'm sharpening, I'm not thinking about what I'm doing. I mean, I'm sitting here talking to you. I don't know if you've ever paid attention, but when you're talking, you can't really concentrate on what you're doing. And the only reason I can do this and talk to you is because I've developed muscle memory. And my body just kind of instinctually does what it's supposed to do. And this doesn't take years to build up. I mean, I've been sharpening freehand for about a month now. So don't feel like this is something that I've developed over many, many years, because it's not. I have a big burr on the other side, so I'm done with a 1000. Ready to move on to the pink 3000 grit Chosera. Just running them under the faucet, because these Chosera stones are different than traditional water stones, and you're not supposed to soak them. So I'm going to check focus. We're good. One of the cool things about the 600 grit stone is that Waco has actually used it. It's one of the stones he actually used in some of his videos. So I'm a big fan of his channel, so that's kind of a treat for me to have something that the man himself has actually used. I know I'm a super geek, but whatever. I don't care at all. I enjoy this kind of stuff. And I'm guessing you do too, since you watch my videos. We can all afford to be a little geeky every once in a while. As you can hear, this stone is nearly silent. I mean, there's virtually no noise to it. And these higher grit stones are good to practice with, because since there's no noise, if you do end up hearing a really loud noise on a stroke, just kind of a, you know that you've either gone over your angle and you've probably rounded your edge off, or you went under and you just kind of sharpen a little bit on the shoulder, which doesn't affect your edge at all. If you do it just one time, it's not going to really hurt your edge. But if you do it over and over again and you don't realize it, then you're going to need to go back to step one and do it all over again. Like that. I just went below my angle a little bit there. I'm going to go ahead and check for a burr. already starting to get a pretty good polish going. I have a burr. I'm ready to move on. Flip sides. And again, with muscle memory, I don't even have to know. I didn't check my angle just there. Just for muscle memory, I know that I wiped all of that magic marker off in those couple strokes. If you notice, I didn't check my angle at all. It just comes with muscle memory. See how it's completely devoid of Sharpie? That's what you develop after you've done this for a while. It just kind of comes naturally. So as you can hear, it's almost completely silent. Pressure. Pressure is something you want to use pressure sparingly. Especially on these higher grits and these really, really high quality stones. A lot of pressure is just not needed. It's absolutely not needed to get extremely good edges. You kind of just guide the knife and let it go under its own weight and let the stone do the work. Okay, this next step on this 8,000 grit stone is where I had some trouble last night. So I'm going to go ahead and show you what the edge looks like on this 3,000. And I'm going to show you the sharpness just in case I end up screwing it up on that 8,000 grit stone. As you can see, the edge is already very, very polished at that 3,000 grit level. I can't catch a reflection on anything, but I'm sure you can tell it's polished. I mean, it's a very, very pretty edge right now, and that's only at 3,000 grit. So I'm going to show what it's like. I may still have a burr. No, I don't. It's wow. Wow, that's only a 3,000 grit. Holy crap. Wow. I know you can't feel that, but there is absolutely no effort in that cut. Holy crap. Waco told me that I was going to get some crazy edges with these Chosera stones, but wow, I didn't expect that. That's only 3,000 grit. Wow. Wow. Sorry, I got carried away there, didn't I? That's extremely sharp, guys. That's probably the sharpest edge I've got at such a low grit ever. And now I just made a huge mess. Oh God, that's gonna bug me. Y'all can just deal with the mess. Okay. I'm sure you could tell by the tone of my voice, but I'm extremely happy with that. I don't think I've ever gotten an edge that sharp on 3,000 grit. So we're running out of time here. I'm going to mark the edge and see if I can just get that last bit of polish going. And get that last bit of sharpness in there. This stone has a much rougher feel to it than the 3,000 grit. I'm not sure why that is. The actual stone seems to be a lot more porous and softer. It's just kind of strange. You could hear my angle went under and over for a split second there. There's not the same feedback in this stone. I'm not sure if that's where the quality comes in, but this is a king stone. This is no longer a Chosera stone, but the feedback in the stone is just not even close to the Chosera. Ooh, I just went over big time there. I may have just dulled my edge. That's what I'm saying with this stone. I can't tell what I'm doing, so I end up having a lot of variation in my edge. So I'm going to show you the polish. It did polish the edge up a lot more, but I could have just dulled it when I went over my angle. But we'll find out in just a second. No, I don't think I dulled it. I could have. If I would have done that more than once, I probably would have ruined my edge. But as you can see, it's I did actually dull that one spot that I went over, but it's not very noticeable. I could go back to the 3000 grit stone and correct that little micro mistake. And here is where I went over. The rest of this was perfect, but just to get the last little bit of sharpness, I'm going to go ahead and strop. I don't have time in this video to whittle a hair with this, but I could probably do that in the next video. Oh yeah, that cleaned it up a lot. I know you can't feel it, you just have to go based on what I'm saying, but that's a ridiculously sharp edge. Absolutely ridiculous. Wow. Waco, these stones, they're amazing. It's nothing I probably would have gotten myself, because honestly I didn't know there was that much difference in these Chosera stones. It just falls through. Wow. Let me I'm not sure I stropped the edge long enough to accomplish this, but people always talk about slicing. I tore it at the very end. Yeah, this is not refined enough yet. Well, actually, it might have just been my technique, but a little bit more work on the 3000 grit stone, and just a slight. If I wouldn't have messed up my angle on the 8000, it probably would have been good enough to slice toilet paper. But I still need more practice, of course, but this is my second time using them, so I'm very happy with the results. And thank you again, Waco. Stones are amazing. I love them, and I'm going to keep practicing, and I'll update and show another sharpening video. But there's the edge, guys. This is ran on longer than I wanted it to, so I'm going to wrap it up. But I'm going to strop it more and then probably test it. So thanks for watching, guys. Thank you again, Waco, and I'll see you next time.